We hear, brothers and sisters, in the gospel, Jesus saying that no slave is greater than his master, nor any messenger greater than the one who sent him. And he's saying this as he is serving the disciples by washing their feet. So he's giving us this model of humility. But at the same time, we remember that Jesus also said that if people called Jesus Beelzebul, certainly that other people were going to attack the disciples of Jesus with similar epithets. So he's making us aware that sometimes when we are trying to do God's will, other people don't recognize it as that. This is true also of the saint that we celebrate today, St. Catherine of Siena. Shortly after she died, after she had worked tirelessly, being inspired by God to bring the Pope back from Avignon, France, shortly thereafter, there was a schism. That is, one Pope was elected in Rome, and then another was elected who went off to Avignon. And some of the theologians who thought themselves so wise opposed the canonization of Catherine of Siena by saying that if her revelation of bringing the Pope back from Avignon was so holy, why did it result in a schism afterwards? As if everything that happens is always somehow the result of one thing. St. Catherine could very certainly have been inspired to bring the Pope back from Avignon to Rome. But that doesn't mean that the devil didn't want to stir up more division afterwards. So, brothers and sisters, we want to remember a general principle when it comes to our spiritual lives. When we pray and we see God respond, sometimes other things happen that seem like everything is falling apart on us. Well, let's face it. God is not the only player on the field. We are born into a spiritual conflict between the powers of hell that still want to try to hang on to the dominion that has been taken from them, and the power of God, who is looking to bring about the fullness of Christ's victory to today's day and age, and he's doing it through us. So I've heard sometimes people say, well, I pray and things just get worse. I say, good. That's a sign that you're pissing the devil off. Because, let's face it, when the enemy sees us placing our faith in God, he tries to go out of his way to discourage us, because he knows how powerful it can be when we persevere in prayer, when we persevere in faith, hope, and love, trusting in the goodness of God. So sometimes, as Jesus has told us, it requires perseverance. And Jesus said that if we thought that God was like an unjust judge, if we persevere long enough, God's going to give us what we want. He's not saying that God is somehow fickle like that, but what he's trying to show us is that sometimes things aren't immediate. Now, I know that that is disturbing to our fast food microwave culture that wants everything now. But let's face it, the best things, the things that are worth fighting for, are worth the patience. And so we want to ask the Lord today for the faith to be able to see beyond our circumstances, that we might not jump to the wrong conclusions as some theologians did after St. Catherine of Siena died and after the schism resulted, but that we can see that God is still at work in his church, even if the enemy tries to mess things up.